Hey guys, it's Awesomeness once again, back from the parking lot with another random talking video in my car because it's about the only quiet space where I won't be interrupted and my thoughts destroyed. Kind of. I mean, my thoughts are jumbled up anyway, but here I am once again making another video for God knows why. Just because I feel like it. After last week's video, also surprise, surprise, another wrestling topic. Here we go. Go figure. After last week's video, so this has been going around in my head the past couple days, and I feel like maybe I should make a video on it. After last week's video, I mentioned in it that I was, like a hardcore, I want to say hardcore, but hardcore AEW fan. And, so I started thinking about it, and I felt like maybe I should explain why, as I see a very nice, I think it's a Plymouth? No, it's a Chevy. Like a 70s Chevy driving by. It's a nice car. Anyway, where was I? See, I talk about my thoughts getting scrambled and still managed to get them scrambled. So I thought I'd talk about why I'm an AEW fan through and through, because, there's a lot of bickering on the internet between people who like different wrestling promotions, and really all I see is just these random half jabs at each other, that like are supposed to be, like some sort of like, your promotion sucks because this and this, right? And I'm like, okay, well, it's fine, I guess, if you don't like it, but... So here, I felt like maybe I should explain it in more simple terms than the short, bickering jargon you see on the internet, as to why I prefer AEW over other wrestling promotions. And I've jotted out in my mind, because I know these videos get rambly, especially after my last one where I realized it was 20 minutes of just me talking to nobody. I should maybe keep it a little shorter. And also because, I'm on my lunch break, and I have a limited amount of time to do so, and less time than, last video I had. Anyway. So here's why. And I've segmented it out into three key points to make it flow a little easier and a little easier to understand, so I'm not just going all over the place. I should have written them down somewhere with a pen, but I have them in my brain. So, reason number one, here's subsection number one of why I prefer AEW over other wrestling promotions, is the vibe, I guess, is the best way I can put it. AEW is different than a lot of other wrestling promotions, in my view, in that the vibe it gives off is more or less, it's very unique in that it seems to emanate from a place of passion for professional wrestling, more than other wrestling companies that I have watched. And they're especially not on the scale that it is. I mean, we're talking millions and millions of dollars going into this product on TV, big budget pyrotechnics, high definition cameras, everything like that. You get some of the similar vibe in some smaller indie shows, that dot up the place around the country. You get that vibe too, but this is that vibe brought to a national scale, which I really like, because here's an insult I see get thrown at AEW fans, is that AEW is just more indie trash, just with high budget indie trash. And I'm like, okay, so that's fine. I don't understand the distinction. I mean, if my vision of wrestling to be fun and entertaining and contain passion for wrestling and you know and what the performers are doing. If that's indie trash, then fine, don't care. You know, another insult I see is if AEW wants to keep, you know, wants to build to a more wider casual audience, then they're gonna need to stop with this background indie stuff or underground indie garbage. And I'm like, screw them. The point of this is to have fun. And I get, you know, for as a business standpoint, of course you want to make money and grow your fan base and everything. But there's a balance between being in it to make money and being in it to put on a good show. Which sometimes those are intertwined, but I feel like the vibe that AEW gives off is that it's a promotion that has been built by pro wrestlers and maybe even input of some fans for the benefit of the fans, and thus they make money. Maybe not as much money as other, you know, promotions that, you know, do other business practices, but we get hardcore crowds of people that love pro wrestling and wrestlers that at least feel like they have a genuine passion for what they're doing and not just doing it for a paycheck. And it feels like AEW has been built to mean or to trying to find my words here. It's been built to please wrestling fans and not to please investors. The main thing I'm going with there is with WWE. There's people walking all around me. I'm getting distracted. I don't know why there's so many people just jogging around out here. There's usually no one out here, but whatever. My main shot on that last point was kind of towards WWE, because one of the reasons I just kind of fell out of love with WWE was it felt like the core audience that WWE was going for was their investors. They're the big shareholders that have a stake in their big company is who I felt was more. It was the on-screen product was more trying to please. To where in AEW it feels like they know they have to make money by pleasing us, the fans, not big investors that have dumped millions into it. And that vibe appeals to me more, I suppose. Point two is the wrestling. The wrestling itself. Is it always perfect? No, but I'm speaking generally here. The vision of AEW, going back to the first point, or I guess the vibe, was more to bring a bunch of wrestling styles together. And I feel like when it comes to the wrestling itself in AEW, you get that variety. And where in other promotions you just don't. And they not only have those performers on the roster that can give that variety, but they also promote that variety as like a key feature, which I love, because it gives you everything you need. You know, if you're not into a certain match style, probably on the same show, or at least maybe the other show, because there's two of them, you're going to find a match that is to your taste. Say, you know, you get the Lucha Brothers in a crazy high-flying lucha match against, like, Andrade and Rush. Crazy, high-flying, fast-paced. Maybe that's not your speed. Maybe maybe your speed is a Punk versus Moxley versus Jericho match. Maybe Punk versus Jericho too, but a Mox versus Jericho match where it's slower, more methodical, more a thinking man's game than high flying stunts and all the flippy moves and stuff. You'll probably see that too. Maybe you like technical wrestling. Maybe you like a Bryan Danielson versus a Daniel Garcia that's happened recently. Maybe you like technical wrestling. Holds and joint manipulation and that type of stuff. Maybe you like that. Maybe you like strong style or, more heavy hitting matches. Like a Kingston and a Suzuki. That's happened, I think. Or recently at the All Out buy-in that happened a couple weeks back. It was Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii, where they just slapped each other for real hard and basically made each other's chests bleed for 20 minutes. Maybe that's more your speed. You'll see all of that, and it's promoted to you that you will see all of that. And when it comes to the actual wrestling itself, for me as a fan, I enjoy that variety, not just as someone who likes some things and not other things. For me, I like wrestling in general. To be honest with you. So all those different matches appeal to me. I like those really technical matches like Danielson gives, or Garcia or Wheeler Yuta gives that can really do that stuff really well. I really like hardcore matches too. Not afraid to say it. I like barbed wire. I like glass. I like blood. That's entertaining sometimes too. A Mox match doing that. Nick Gage doing that. Nick Gage and Jericho did that once. They had tubes and everything. It's crazy. I like the high-flying flipping moves. I like a random crazy Canadian destroyer from the Young Bucks or the Lucha Brothers. I don't mind 50 super kicks in a match, because really the basis of it is people get, all tied up with how their vision of wrestling should be. And then a lot of it is based, way, way back in time when, wrestling was way different. And to me, wrestling should be whatever the audience enjoys. And when you see a crazy Canadian destroyer from the top, maybe it might not make a lick of sense, but that crowd is on their feet. Last night, it's Dynamite. I'm recording this on a Thursday again. Last night on Dynamite, Pentagon Jr. hit a Canadian destroyer on Keith Lee, of all people. He's like 350 pounds. It was insane. The crowd went nuts. That's what it's about. It doesn't always have to make perfect sense in terms of wrestling. But even places, you get that in AEW too. You get those crazy, very toned down, very story driven, matches too. You get them both. A lot of times on the same show. That variety is great. That's why I love it. I know I said I had 3 points, but I'm kind of running out of time. And to be honest with you, I kind of covered point 3 and point 1 when I kind of mixed the vibe with the vision. That was my third point, was the vision. And they kind of do mix together. The vision goes to my earlier point of it being for everyone, It's a promotion built by wrestlers and fans for the benefit of fans because fans wanted it. Now that's great to me. It's what appeals to me. And I could probably go on and on about a whole bunch of different points. Bunch of random whatevers that I individually enjoy. But those are the main things. And I kept it, relatively in order, I suppose. I hope so, anyway. But that's the video for today. Felt like explaining that, so I'll do a quick. This is the new Mountain Dew flavor. This is the Voodoo 2022. Do a quick. It's good. It kind of tastes like sour apple, but slightly different. My brother said it's kind of started off as a Baja Blast, but more sour. And I kind of agree. It's like a Baja Blast, but it's like a green apple Baja Blast. It's like mixed thrashed apple and Baja Blast, and this is kind of what this tastes like to me anyway. Maybe I'll do a which Mountain Dew flavors are my favorite video next. Anyway, I gotta get back at it, so catch you later.